Chosen one. From the very beginning, you may have felt the difference. You may have noticed that while others blended easily into the family circle, you always stood slightly outside of it. Not because you wanted to, but because something about you was marked. God set you apart. Not to punish you, not to make you feel abandoned, but because He needed to shape you differently. The calling on your life could not be watered down by the expectations, traditions, or limitations of those around you. The divine separation is real, and though it has felt painful at times, it is purposeful. Chosen one, stay with me until the end of this message. There is something here that your spirit has been waiting to hear. And if you feel this word stirring in your heart, comment your warmest wishes and 144 below. This is a moment of energy exchange, a way of planting your intention into the universe and watching it grow. Let your wishes flow, because the universe will mirror back what you release. Now, chosen one, show your light by liking this video and subscribe to the channel, and let's step into this together. Now listen, the separation from family is not about rejection, it is about direction. Sometimes God allows the space to form so that you are not shaped by the patterns that would have kept you small. Your brothers, your sisters, your parents. They may not understand why you see the world differently. They may not understand why you cannot settle for the same cycles, why you cannot walk the same paths, or why you resist the same limitations. It is because you were never meant to carry their ceiling as your roof. You were meant to break past it, to go further, to pioneer. And yes, this often means misunderstanding. Some may call you arrogant. Some may label you distant. Some may even accuse you of thinking you are better. But chosen one, this was never about superiority. This was about responsibility. You were chosen to carry something your family could not carry. You were chosen to break the generational cycles that ran unchecked for years. You were chosen to embody a new standard of life, faith, discipline, and vision. That mantle required you to stand out, even when you wanted nothing more than to fit in. Your difference is not a curse, it is a calling. The tension you feel in your family is often the very evidence that you are set apart. Think of how many times you tried to explain your dreams, your visions, or your sense of destiny, and the room fell silent. Or how often you felt discouraged when those closest to you could not see what you saw. Chosen one, they were not meant to see it. The vision was given to you, not them. And because of that, you will often walk a road of solitude before you walk a road of recognition. But hear this truth: God did not set you apart to leave you isolated forever. He set you apart so that you could be equipped. The separation was the training ground. The distance was the preparation. Every moment of feeling unseen, every sigh of loneliness, every tear you cried in silence, it was not wasted. It was forming resilience, clarity, and faith. You were learning to rely on divine whispers instead of human approval. You were learning to anchor yourself in something higher than blood ties. Chosen one, the family you came from is not always the family that will walk with you into destiny. And that's okay. Love them, honor them, but do not shrink yourself to make them comfortable. You were not designed to repeat their story. You were designed to rewrite it. This is why the separation was necessary. This is why you could not walk the same path. This is why you were always different. When you are set apart, you are forced into a journey that others around you may never understand. While they are content with repeating the same cycles, you feel restless, unable to settle for what does not align with your spirit. That restlessness is not an accident. It is divine agitation, a stirring placed inside of you to remind you that your destiny cannot be tied down by familiarity. You are meant to expand beyond the boundaries that defined your family. Chosen one, you may have noticed how your path feels heavier, yet clearer at the same time. While others in your family may take shortcuts or compromise, something in you simply will not allow it. You feel the weight of responsibility pressing on your shoulders. You know deep down that if you were to fall into the same traps, everything would collapse. You are not allowed to move carelessly, because your steps are building a foundation that others will one day walk on. That is why you have been separated, so that you can learn discipline, focus, and vision. This is why sometimes you may feel like you are fighting battles no one else in your family even sees. You sense the spiritual wars in ways they cannot. You feel the pull of temptation in ways they ignore. You notice the destructive patterns more sharply than they do, and it frustrates you. But chosen one, that awareness is part of your gift. God gave you sight so that you could not only escape the cycles, but also build something greater. The separation also exposes the truth. Not everyone who shares your blood shares your destiny. Love is one thing, but purpose is another. Some in your family may never support your dreams. Some may never celebrate your victories. Some may even mock your vision. But their agreement is not required for your calling to manifest. Your journey is not contingent upon their approval because it was written before you ever arrived. And here's the beauty of being set apart. Eventually, the same family who did not understand, you will witness the results of your obedience. They may not see now, but one day they will see why you could not conform. One day they will understand why you resisted the old ways, why you refused to settle, why you seemed different. One day your obedience will become their opportunity. Your breakthrough will become their blueprint. This is why you must not allow resentment to grow in your heart. Even if they misunderstood you, even if they laughed at you, even if they called you the black sheep, remember this: God chose you to lead, not to blend in. The separation was not rejection, but preparation. Being set apart often comes with the burden of isolation. You may look around and realize you do not have many people who truly understand what you are going through. While your family may share your history, they cannot always share your vision. And while that loneliness can feel heavy, it is also intentional. God removes distractions so that you can hear His voice more clearly. When too many opinions surround you, it's easy to confuse their noise with His direction. But when you are alone, there is no mistaking who is guiding you. Chosen one, understand that solitude is not abandonment, it is refinement. Every moment where you felt overlooked by those closest to you was actually a moment where God was drawing you closer to Him. He set you apart because He wanted intimacy with you that no one else could interfere with. He wanted to teach you lessons that others might never comprehend. He wanted you to develop strength, wisdom, and endurance without leaning on human validation. This separation also becomes a mirror. It forces you to see yourself outside of the labels your family tried to place on you. Maybe they saw you as weak, or odd, or simply different. But chosen one, those labels are not your identity. Being set apart is God's way of stripping away false titles so that your true name can emerge. You are not who they said you were. You are who God has been shaping you to be all along. And yes, it hurts to feel the sting of distance, especially when it comes from people you thought would always be your safe place. But the truth is, if you had remained in their comfort, you would have missed your calling. You would have blended into their patterns, repeated their cycles, and lost your voice in their expectations. God loved you too much to allow that. He disrupted your belonging so that you could discover your becoming. The more you embrace this truth, the stronger you become. You stop needing everyone to understand you. You stop craving their approval. You stop apologizing for being different. Instead, you begin to recognize that your uniqueness is your power. You are not set apart to be hidden. You are set apart to be elevated. And once you stop fighting that reality, the peace of purpose begins to settle in your soul. When God sets you apart, it is not only for your own growth, but also for the generations to come. Your separation is not random. It is generational. While others in your family may have chosen to settle, you are called to break patterns that have lasted for years, even decades. The struggles that once repeated like cycles in your bloodline are stopping with you. You may not have asked to carry this responsibility, but chosen one. It is the very reason why you were chosen. Think about it. Every family has unspoken patterns, cycles of poverty, broken relationships, addictions, fear, and limitations. These things often get passed down not because people want them, but because no one stands up to change them. And then you arrived. God did not allow you to fit in because He needed you to be the one to confront what no one else would. That is why your journey looks different. That is why your burden has felt heavier. Because you are not just living for yourself, you are rewriting the story for everyone who comes after you. Chosen one, understand that your separation is an act of divine love. While your family may see it as rejection, in reality, it is redemption. God is rewriting your lineage through you. You are being pulled away not to lose them, but to prepare something greater for them. You are like the seed that must leave the plant in order to grow into something new. It may look like you've been uprooted, but in truth, you are being replanted in richer soil. And here is the truth you must hold on to. Not everyone in your family will celebrate this. Some will resent you for breaking away. They may see your path as arrogance or betrayal, not realizing that your obedience is actually intercession for them. You are carrying battles they never could, and you are opening doors they may one day walk through. Even if they do not understand now, the fruit of your obedience will one day testify on your behalf. This is why you cannot compare your path to theirs. You cannot measure your progress by their timelines or their expectations. What God is doing in you cannot be explained by the standards of your household. You are not set apart to compete with them. You are set apart to create something they have never seen. And though the distance may sting, though the separation may ache, trust that it is all part of the greater design. The beauty of being set apart is that even though the road feels lonely, it is never wasted. Every moment of isolation is an investment into what is coming. You may look around and feel that you've been forgotten by the very people who should have supported you, but what they cannot see now will one day become undeniable. The separation is painful, but it is also preparation. God is shaping you into the evidence they cannot deny. Chosen one, think of how often you felt like the different one. The conversations that didn't sit right with your spirit. The traditions that no longer matched your convictions. The lifestyles that left you feeling heavy instead of free. These were all signs of the divine separation at work. You were not meant to blend in, because blending in would have kept you bound to the very cycles God was breaking through you. Your discomfort was not punishment, it was revelation. And here is the deeper truth. Your elevation will not only bless you, it will expose them to what is possible. Your life will become a mirror they cannot ignore. Where they saw limitation, they will now see possibility. Where they accepted brokenness as normal, they will see healing through you. Where they believed certain doors were closed forever, they will watch those same doors swing wide open in your favor. You are not being set apart to shame them. You are being set apart to show them that a different path exists. Even if some in your family remain resistant, your obedience is not in vain. Seeds are being planted with every step you take. Some may try to fight against your change, but deep down the fruit of your life will stir something within them. They may never tell you, but your courage will silently inspire them. That is why you must continue. That is why you cannot return to who you were. Because what God is doing in you is not just for today, it is for generations to come. And when the time is right, God will make it clear that you were never rejecting your family by stepping away. You were redeeming them by carrying the call. One day, the same people who doubted you will see the evidence of what God was building in you. The same ones who laughed at your separation will benefit from your obedience. Do not despise your distance. It is the very thing God is using to build a bridge back to them, stronger and unshakable. Being set apart is not a badge of favoritism, it is a mantle of responsibility. God did not remove you from the familiar because He wanted to make you feel superior, but because He needed you to be sharpened for an assignment that required clarity, purity, and strength. The spotlight on your life is not about applause. It is about accountability. To whom much is given, much will be required. Chosen one, the very separation that left you questioning yourself is the same separation that qualified you for greater stewardship. Others may not see it, but God knows the weight of what you carry. That is why He has called you to walk differently, think differently, and live differently. He could not allow you to remain in patterns that dilute your purpose. He could not let you stay bound by the cycles that consumed your family line. You were chosen to stand outside the cycle so you could break it. And here lies the truth. Being set apart means you will be misunderstood. Some will assume you think you are better than them, when in reality, you are simply obeying the path God placed before you. Some will confuse your focus for arrogance, but only you and God know the battles you've had to fight in silence. That spotlight shining on you is not the glow of ease. It is the fire of refinement. It is the evidence of what happens when someone surrenders everything to God. Your responsibility now is not to seek validation from those who do not understand, but to remain faithful to the one who entrusted you with this journey. The separation was never about distance. It was about alignment. Alignment with His will. Alignment with your destiny. Alignment with the breakthrough that will ripple through generations. You are not walking away from your family. You are walking into the role that will one day open doors for them too. So do not shrink when the spotlight feels heavy. Do not doubt when the voices grow loud. The very fact that God set you apart proves that He trusts you to handle what others could not. He placed something inside you that must come forth, and it cannot happen if you blend in. It can only manifest when you dare to stand out, even if that means standing alone for a season. Separation, as painful as it may be, is not the end of connection. It is the beginning of transformation. God often removes the chosen one from the crowd because He is shaping them into a vessel that can carry what others are not yet ready for. That isolation, that distance, is not rejection. It is refinement. In solitude, you are taught to hear God more clearly. In silence, you are strengthened. In stillness, You are prepared for movements that will shift generations. Chosen one, the loneliness you feel is not punishment. It is preparation. God knows that voices around you can sometimes drown out His direction, so He separates you until you learn to lean fully on Him. You may feel misunderstood by those closest to you, but this misunderstanding is part of the training. It teaches you to anchor your identity in God, not in the opinions of others. It matures you to a place where applause does not inflate you, and rejection does not break you. The wilderness is where chosen ones become warriors. You are being built into a vessel strong enough to carry blessings that will not only impact your life, but will overflow into your family, your community, and beyond. While others see absence, heaven sees strategy. God is removing you from old cycles so you can establish new patterns. He is teaching you disciplines that will sustain you in abundance, because He does not just want you to rise, He wants you to remain. The truth is, if you were left in the same place, surrounded by the same voices, shaped by the same habits, you would not be ready for what He has planned. You needed the distance to grow. You needed the separation to strengthen. You needed the solitude to understand that your strength is not your own, it is divine. So do not fear the quiet seasons. Do not despise the feeling of standing alone. In those very moments, heaven is pouring into you the wisdom, clarity, and power that you will need when the spotlight grows brighter. Remember, chosen one, isolation is not a sign that you are forgotten. It is proof that you are being prepared for something too great to be rushed. When God sets you apart, it is rarely just about you. It is about breaking chains that have held your family for generations. You are the one chosen to stop cycles of limitation, fear, poverty, and doubt. The separation is so you can see clearly what others cannot. While they remain within the patterns of old traditions, you are being lifted to create new paths. This is why you often feel like you don't fit, because you weren't designed to fit into what was, but to usher in what will be. Generational patterns can be strong, but divine assignment is stronger. You have been chosen to confront things your family ignored, to heal wounds they buried, and to break ceilings they accepted. The reason you were set apart is because you carry the courage to say no more. You are the one God trusted to interrupt cycles of silence, to challenge false comfort, and to create a space where blessings can flow freely. It is not rebellion, it is redemption. Chosen one, understand this. Your life will not look like those around you, because you are carrying something they were never asked to carry. It can feel like pressure, it can feel like weight, but it is divine responsibility. When you rise not just for yourself, but for those who came before you and those who will come after you. Your obedience to the separation is what creates the opening for generational healing. Many times, your family may not understand this role. They may see your choices as strange, your silence as distance, your discipline as pride. But heaven knows you are not walking away, you are walking ahead. God is not removing you from them to punish them, but to use you as a beacon that will one day guide them out of their own darkness. Your yes is the doorway for their breakthrough. The legacy of your family will not end in brokenness because you are the one chosen to rewrite the story. Where there was pain, there will be peace. Where there was lack, there will be provision. Where there was confusion, there will be clarity. And it begins with you, the one set apart, the one misunderstood, the one chosen. Separation is not always isolation. It is preparation. The chosen are often moved into a season of distance, not to punish them, but to train them. When you are apart, God is reshaping your vision, refining your ears to hear His voice more clearly, and strengthening your spirit so you will not bend under pressure. You are being equipped for something far greater than what your family circle could have imagined for you. Think of it this way. If you remained fully blended into the same rhythm, you would inherit the same limitations. But by pulling you out, God gives you the freedom to see beyond the walls that confined your lineage. You begin to dream dreams no one before you dared to dream. You begin to believe possibilities that others dismissed as fantasy. Your very perspective is proof that you were designed for something new. This separation also sharpens discernment. When you are set apart, you learn to identify patterns in people, in environments, and in energy that others overlook. God allows you to witness what happens when cycles go unchallenged, so that you never allow them to take root in your own destiny. This is why your awareness often feels heavier than those around you, because you are carrying sight they do not yet possess. But with this clarity comes responsibility. You cannot return to old habits once your eyes have been opened. You cannot shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You cannot deny what you've seen, heard, or felt. The more you try to blend in, the more uncomfortable your spirit becomes, because your soul knows it was designed to lead, not to follow. Chosen one, understand that being set apart is not rejection. It is redirection. God is redirecting your path to ensure that you will not only survive what your family endured, but overcome it. You were marked to be the difference, to carry a light bright enough to guide others when their time of awakening comes. And though it feels lonely now, this separation is the soil in which your legacy is being planted. There will come a moment when what once felt like separation will begin to reveal itself as preparation for leadership. The very family you were set apart from may one day look to you for guidance. They may not understand you now, but time has a way of proving the divine hand that shaped your journey. When the cycles they repeat finally weigh too heavy, they will see in you the evidence of a new way. This is why you must remain steadfast in your calling. You are not just walking away from old paths, you are carving out a new one. Every time you resist falling back into patterns that kept your bloodline bound, you are building a road they too can walk on when their time comes. Even if they mocked you, doubted you, or dismissed your purpose, you were never called to carry bitterness. You were called to carry vision. Understand this truth. Your role is not to convince them in words, but to demonstrate through your life. Your transformation will speak louder than your explanations. The peace you carry will outshine the arguments you never needed to have. The fruit of your obedience will silence the doubt that once surrounded you. And in time, those who resisted your difference may be the very ones who follow your lead. But until then, your responsibility is to remain aligned with the one who called you. Do not rush the process of proving yourself. Do not waste your strength trying to be understood. What you carry cannot always be explained. It must be revealed through the unfolding of your journey. That is why you were set apart, to show that God can write a story so different, so undeniable, that even the hardest hearts must recognize His hand. So, chosen one, carry your separation with dignity. What feels like distance now will one day look like direction. What feels like rejection now will one day look like redirection. And the very family that once questioned your difference may one day thank God for it, because your obedience will become their doorway to freedom. There is another layer to this separation, one that goes beyond the natural and into the spiritual. Sometimes, being set apart is not only about preparing you for your assignment, but also about protecting you from unseen sabotage. There are battles you could not fight if you were still surrounded by the same environment, the same cycles, and the same voices. Some of the resistance you feel is not personal, it is spiritual. And that is why God had to remove you from certain ties even within your own bloodline. Family is sacred, but it can also be a place where hidden jealousy, old wounds, or generational curses operate quietly. Some hearts in your circle may have struggled to celebrate you fully because your rise exposes the limitations they have accepted. Some may have unknowingly spoken against your growth, not out of pure malice, but out of fear or insecurity. And others may have been willing to draw from your light without ever protecting it. To fulfill your divine purpose, God had to shield you from these subtle forms of sabotage. When He sets you apart, it is not because you are better than those around you. It is because your mission requires clarity and strength. You cannot be entangled with energies that confuse your vision. You cannot be surrounded by people who secretly hope you remain small. You cannot carry out a divine assignment if you are weighed down by the silent expectations of those who want you to stay the same. Chosen one, this separation is divine strategy. By pulling you out of certain spaces, God is ensuring that your foundation cannot be shaken by hidden hands. He is teaching you to depend on Him so that when you do rise, you will not rise in fear of sabotage. You will rise in power, knowing you are protected. And as your life unfolds, the very protection that felt like isolation will prove to be the shield that preserved your destiny. When God sets you apart, it also unlocks a greater clarity in your spirit. Distance reveals details you could not see when you were in the middle of it all. Suddenly, you begin to notice patterns that had been normalized for years. You see cycles of limitation that no one else dares to question. You discern words and behaviors that once seemed harmless, but now you recognize them as seeds that either uplift or restrict destiny. Being apart gives you spiritual eyes. It sharpens your ability to discern energy, intentions, and truth. The chosen often feel like they see life through a different lens, and that's because they do. Where others see just family matters, you see generational patterns that need to be broken. Where others accept, this is how it has always been, you recognize that it does not align with the divine blueprint God is writing for you. This separation heightens your sensitivity to the unseen. You may notice how quickly your spirit reacts when something is off, even in conversations that seem casual. You may feel how your energy shifts in environments where your light is unwelcomed. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. God is training your spirit to be aware, to move wisely, and to protect the assignment He has placed in you. Chosen one, understand this. The isolation you feel is not emptiness. It is alignment. God is positioning you in a frequency that not everyone can handle. You are being tuned to a higher dimension. And with that tuning comes an awareness others cannot yet comprehend. This is why you may feel misunderstood. This is why people may accuse you of overthinking or being too serious. But you are not too much. You are simply attuned to what they cannot yet hear. In time, those who once misunderstood will realize that your sensitivity was never a weakness, but the very strength that set you apart to carry what they could not.